What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update, and the rumour mill is in full overdrive at the moment. Literally, there's a new rumour about a new player coming out every second at the moment, linking to Tottenham Hotspur. And let's get into that first one, and it's that Lautaro Martinez once again. Corriere dello Sport saying Inter Milan need to make a profit of around 60 million euros this summer. Lautaro Martinez is the player who could be sold, as he is attracting interest from Atletico Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur. The striker's new termination clause is around 70 million euros. Tottenham have had an offer of 85 million euros plus 10 million euros in bonuses for Lautaro, rejected by Inter last summer. Tutto Sports say Inter would reluctantly sell Martinez to Tottenham for 80 million euros. Conte does know him very well. And Jack Taubel says that Tottenham remain firmly interested in Lautaro Martinez and see him as the perfect partner for Harry Kane. Spurs will try and sign him in the summer, having also made another attempt in January. So these Martinez rumours just don't go away, do they?
I was obviously going to get even more heightened. Now we have Conte, isn't it? Because in the summer we had Nuno and we were going for him. But now with Conte having managed him last season, the rumours are obviously going to be rife that Martinez could be set for Tottenham, and obviously be a fantastic signing. He really adds depth and quality to the squad. I would question whether in the 3-4-3, how we would play it. With would it be Martinez, Kane, and Son? Would it be I don't know. Would it be? I don't know how we would play it, to be honest.
I think if we do sign him, and if we do try and continue to bolster up that midfield with a Tielemans and an Eriksen both together, I think that does kind of signify. First of all, it gives us flexibility, and second of all, I think it might signify that our first formation might be moving to a 3-5-2.
And no Son.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Unless he puts Son at on the left
wing back,
and then kind of as like a wing back, but not really. The
fact of the matter is that you want specific formations in specific games, and we want a beefy squad that can fight on all fronts next season. And when you're looking at a team like Man City or even Liverpool, they just signed Luis Diaz in the summer for quite big money, and they're not saying he's going to hinder Mane or Salah or all these players. If you want to get a proper squad, you need two quality players in each position.
I completely agree, and I think it's healthy competition. And even though Kane and Son are two of the best players forwards in the Premier League, if Martinez is going to be that good that we're considering dropping one of them, that's only a positive thing, because it means we're adding quality, and it means that we have someone who's good enough to rival them in the squad, and that will obviously lead to Son and Kane upping their standards as well, and it means we have a very high quality player in the squad. So look, whether we do, I think, again, first of all, as always, depends on Champions League. I think if we're really going to have that kind of money to spend on a forward when the forward's not a priority, we're going to have Champions League money through the door. That's a guarantee. But again, it's one of those where I think we see how much we spend first on a centre-back and our defence, and then we'll see how much money we have on a forward after that. I don't think it's going to be a priority, Martinez, which does kind of led me to think it might not happen, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Because I kind of feel like that kind of player needs to be a priority if we're going to bring him in.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Let's move on and let's talk about Steven Bergwijn yet again. The Daily Mail claiming today that Tottenham star Steven Bergwijn could become the first signing of Erik ten Hag's revolution at Manchester United, as they consider a £20 million move.
Yeah, I mean, if Man United are in for him, there has to be at least a 10 million premium on top of that, surely, when you're selling to a rival. Talking about Bergwijn, I think he would love a move to United if he under a manager who wanted him at Ajax. Now, if he's going to United, clearly believes in him, so I think he would probably jump at the chance to do that at this stage. As much as I don't think he's I think he likes being in the Tottenham squad and everything, but obviously he's not happy with the playing time, is he? So that's the one thing he obviously wants to improve. Would I be open to selling him to United? They'll have to overpay. When you're saying to a rival, you can't sell them for cost price. You have to make them pay more. Otherwise, you're strengthening a rival for, you're giving them a good price and you're helping them out, and you don't want to do that. You want to make it hard for them. And if they say no, he's too expensive, then fine, we'll keep him. That's just the reality. That's what we should be doing.
Like Harry Kane in the summer.
Yeah, that's it.
With Man City.
When it's a rival, it's a rival. There can't be anything. You can't be any favours done.
I just got a feeling that this is just a bit of lazy journalism here. Like, Ten Hag obviously wanted him at Ajax to go back to the Dutch league, which I think he would have thrived in, and I think he'll thrive in the Premier League as well. But I just got a feeling that Man U might just set their sights a bit higher than a Steven Bergwijn this summer.
Yeah, that's true. And when you got Rashford, I think obviously Martial's coming back in the summer. He said that in an interview yesterday that he's not coming. He's not staying at Madrid. You got Sancho,
Sevilla, yeah.
What did I say?
Madrid.
Sorry, Sevilla. He's not staying in Spain. So they have players there, and if they're deemed not good enough, like Martial and Rashford, then they're definitely going to want someone better than Bergwijn to replace him. They're not going to want someone who hasn't really set the Premier League alight to come in and replace those quality of players. So it does. It maybe it's something that he goes there as a squad player, but then he's in the same boat.
Exactly.
So
he's not going to want to go to United as a squad player. I just can't see that.
Him going to United as a squad player, although I do think he would, if offered the opportunity, he would go. Because I do think under a manager who wants him, he would probably do it. But it doesn't make sense us selling to a rival and him going there to be a squad player. Those two things don't make sense. Does it make sense that they even want him? The only thing I would say is that maybe Man United, given the fact that their transfer policy over the last few years has been sign big players for big money and it hasn't worked out, maybe it's the kind of thing where they want to change that up by a younger profile of player who's hungrier and wants to work hard and give everything for the team. And obviously Bergwijn would fit that profile. So if they're going in that direction under Ten Hag, that's maybe where it makes sense. But it just doesn't really add up that this transfer is going to happen.
How time changes though, because like back in the day they used to try and sign our stars, the Berbatovs, the Carricks, and all that, and now they're trying to sign our fringe players.
Yeah, I mean, if this is to be true, yeah, I wouldn't make sign at the times. And I think it was Mourinho who said it a few years ago. He said the landscape's changed in the Premier League. This is even a few years ago now. He said, like a few years ago, if I wanted to go to Tottenham and get bully them and get one of their best players, we just dump up the cash and they usually sell, like when City got Walker and stuff. But now, in this day and age, it's impossible. Even for a big club to go into Tottenham or someone like that and get one of their players, it is impossible unless they've got like a year left on their contract or anything. And I think that's definitely true.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about Harry Kane now. John Cross of the Daily Mirror, is saying that Harry Kane is set to snub a move to Manchester United and stay at Tottenham this summer. Ten Hag had made Harry Kane his top striker target in the summer transfer window, but Harry Kane is loving life under Antonio Conte.
Yeah. And I don't think he'd go to United right now. Why would he go to United when they're just starting another rebuild? It wouldn't make sense. If they were settled in a team with a world-class manager and they look like for sure they're going to go on and challenge for trophies next season.
They lived up to the reputation that was put in front of them this summer, as in the season going ahead, then maybe. But now, no.
No, there's no why. When Tottenham are actually more settled in their process at the moment, they've got a world-class manager in Conte he's got a great relationship with. If we do get the only thing that would stop him staying from Tottenham is if we somehow don't get Champions League from now to the end of the season, which is still a possibility. But if we do get Champions League, I can't see him going anywhere. I think he's enjoying it. He's finally got but he's again got a manager on his wavelength after Mourinho, who we had a great relationship with. Now with Conte, he's playing with the best football of his career. He obviously on a march to top 4, so I don't think there's any danger of him leaving right now. The only doubt is if he doesn't sign a contract.
Do you think he does sign that this summer?
I think I think he does. I think if we get the business done that we are being rumoured to, and we do get Champions League football, I think there's a very good chance he signs that this summer. Yeah, I don't think he'll be at the beginning of the window, but I think it's one where he sees what's like. Once the ambition is confirmed in his mind that yes, we are serious about giving Conte what he wants and moving this club forward and going in the right direction, then I think he will sign the contract.
All right. Let's move on. Paulo Dybala once again. Alfredo Pedula is saying that Dybala has 3 offers from England and Spanish clubs. Inter Milan are also in the mix. The forward is intrigued by Inter and is waiting to see what they offer. Jack Talbot is saying that Dybala is ready to snub transfer interest from Tottenham, Arsenal and Newcastle as he prefers to remain in Italy.
Well, look, it's probably easy for him, isn't it, to remain in Italy, a league he knows well, and he knows he's respected there. If he comes to the Premier League, obviously different kind of pressure. Obviously, if he's ambitious, that's something he might look to do. And maybe he's just thinking, I'm going to stay in Serie A where I'm comfortable. And it's understandable. A lot of players do that. And Inter Milan, obviously challenging for league titles, he knows he can be in that in a title challenge probably in next season as well. So Wouldn't surprise me if he stays in Italy.
And it also makes sense, like if Inter can get a significant fee in for Lautaro Martinez and get Dybala in for free.
Exactly what they did last year, didn't they? Got a significant fee for Lukaku and then signed Dzeko on a free. And Dzeko, to be fair, has done a good job.
Yeah.
So maybe they would have seen that and think, let's just do that again and pocket the money, because they're challenging for the title with Dzeko up front. Why not with Dybala and Dzeko?
Yeah.
Is there that much difference? They might think. I think there is, but they might think maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it the owner or the president of Inter was coming out saying there's literally no difference.
That's what he said. He said, we got all this money for Lukaku and signed Dzeko on the free and there's no difference on the pitch. That's what he said. So based on that, maybe he might think he can repeat the trick, which might be interesting, and it could be in Tottenham's favour if that happens.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Christian Eriksen once again. And our We Are Tottenham ITK has given us some info on Eriksen that we actually released on the podcast last night, but we'll tell it to you again today. And he says, Eriksen to Spurs is a real possibility, but Conte is just scared if he could handle the pressure and stress of coming to Spurs in certain situations. But Conte is definitely interested with the player. Obviously, they're living in the same hotel at the moment, Eriksen and Conte, so I'm sure they bump into each other more than enough times. We've made it quite evident our feelings on Eriksen, how we would love to see him in a Spurs shirt again next season. And I think it is a genuine possibility. And do you think that the kind of fears by Conte about him handling the pressure and the stresses of coming to Spurs are valid?
Of course they're valid. Look, when that happens to a player and he comes, like, it's very rare, that what happened to Eriksen happened and the player comes back to playing. It's very rare. Even look at what happened to Aguero. Wasn't even as bad as what happened to Eriksen, and he had to retire. The only one I
can think of is Daley Blind.
Yeah, but he never actually went into cardiac arrest, I don't think, like Eriksen did. So that, Mwamba had to retire. That, most of the time that happens to a player like Eriksen. It's very rare they come back to playing. Obviously, he's back to playing at a very high level. And the great thing about him is that he's not only come back playing at a very high level, he seems to be better than he was before, like playing at a higher level than he was before. Actually, I think he's trying to prove in his mind to I don't think he's trying to prove to everyone. I think he's trying to prove to himself that he's still the player that he was. And I think he has so far proved that. And I think based on that, he's not trying to let this incident define his career and define who he is. And he wants to get back to knowing what he can do, which is challenging right at the top of the game and challenging you for, you got to remember, he left Tottenham because he was ambitious. He wanted to win things. He didn't leave Tottenham because it was an easy thing to do. He left Tottenham because he wanted to be, win trophies, which he wasn't winning at Tottenham. And so this is a player who is ambitious. So this is a player who will always believe in himself. And I think the way he's come back into the game and the way he's playing, he is showing that he's up to the task of being reintegrated back in the game. And if he continues, obviously there's a few games left to season, if he continues this kind of form, then I think the worries, at the end of the day, if he's happy, if he feels good within himself and he feels like he's better than he's ever been, then I'm happy to take then let's take a chance on him if it's up to him.
It's obviously a lot different being at Tottenham with Conte there, because obviously the training is very rigorous. Takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, but Brentford play an intense way of playing. They're pressing and everything.
Do you think it's anything? Well, we don't know because we don't see the training of Thomas Frank and as opposed to Antonio Conte. But what we're hearing is the Conte kind of training regime is brutal.
Yeah, I agree, but it's not like training at Brentford's going to be a walk in the park.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying the Conte one is specifically brutal.
Yeah. Okay. No, and he will know that because he's done it before at Inter Milan. He's played under Conte, so if he feels like he's up to it, then that's it. I'm just saying, in this day and age, and Premier League, I know maybe Mourinho is a bit of a different because he doesn't concentrate on fitness, but most Premier League clubs now in this day and age and managers will do a lot of fitness work and working and be very intense. And I think it has to be a given most of the time. Obviously, Conte takes it to more of an extreme, possibly, and maybe that that's obviously something to think about and consider. But it's not like he's been not exerting himself, I would say, while being at Brentford. He's all taking it easy is my point. I'm sure he's been pushing himself to the limit while he's there, that, you know what I mean? So I don't think, hopefully, look, maybe that is something to consider, but I don't think it'll be something that puts him off.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Bremer, the centre-back from Torino.
We're getting Torino's whole back line, apparently,
literally, yeah. Gazzetta Italia saying Torino are demanding 50 million euros for Bremer. Tottenham are amongst a host of clubs interested in the central defender. Obviously, it's been quite widely reported how Inter Milan are heavily interested in him. They're looking to bring in someone new to their back line. He's had an amazing season with Torino this year. That's kind of put the spotlight on him a little bit. And he's one, look, I would welcome him at Spurs. Do you think this one's a goer?
Maybe it's a case of we're saying, look, we're going to get Bremer if you don't give us Bastoni. But it's strong arm, Paratici kind of twisting the arm a bit. Again, it's, you know, he's not on the left centre back again, is he?
I'm not too sure which one he'll play, to be honest.
I think he might be. I've correct if I'm wrong. I think he plays one of the other, maybe on the right or the
Torino play a back three.
I read some of they do play a back three a lot of the time, which makes sense for Singo to playing right wing back. I can't say I've seen too much of him play. I've heard very promising things, but if it was a choice between signing him for 50 million and we're signing Ginter on a free, what do we do?
Yeah. It all depends, because I need to know more about Bremer, to be honest. I know he's having a very...
Right? He's like 25?
Yeah, he's 25. I know he's having a strong season, but I'm not sure if it's him to play right, centre or left. I don't know. So I can't really say who I'd prefer, him or Ginter. I mean, I've seen a lot more of Ginter, so obviously I'm more qualified to talk about Ginter than Bremer, but I just know Bremer's having a really good season and, you know, a lot of spotlight on him at the moment.
Yeah, and I just think, look, we've heard that the priorities are left centre-back, so we'll get that sorted first. But I think we all look at another centre-back after that. But will we spend 50 million on the second centre-back?
He is right-footed, yeah.
I don't know if we will. You know what I mean? I can see us spending 50 million. Are we really going to spend over 100 million on two centre-backs? I don't see it.
The Conte way.
No, I don't see it.
Let's move on about Weston McKennie. Again, Gazzetta Italia saying Conte has specifically requested Tottenham to sign Weston McKennie this summer. Obviously, these are more rumours that don't go away. I mean, I feel like we've been linked with Weston McKennie every transfer window over the past 2 years now. Obviously, a very good player, starts very regularly for Juventus. But I just don't know. I mean, these are kind of rumours, but I don't know if Juventus are actually open to letting him go.
Yeah, who knows? I think, again, good player. Fits into any system I think Conte wants to play. I think he can fit in the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2, or even if we want to go 4 at the back, he can fit into that system as well. So definitely a midfielder. I think Conte knows once he signs, you can rely on him to be that hard-working midfielder and not be a liability like some like Winks. Not the profile in terms of a real passer out of the middle and stuff like that, but he's pretty decent on the ball. He's more of like a powerful centre mid than a elegant passer of the ball, which maybe we require. But I think it would be a brilliant signing. I really do. I think it would fit in like a glove at Tottenham, and I would welcome him for sure. I think it would really beef up our midfield options and add quality there. But it's whether and we all know as well that's the kind of midfielder Conte likes and wants in his squad. So I would be happy to have him in, but as long as I also want someone like a Neves, Tielemans, or someone like in the centre, kind of dictating player. I also want that kind of centre mid as well. And or what's it called, a number 10, as Conte said he wants to bring in.
Eriksen. I mean, for me, it's got to be Eriksen and one other. Eriksen on his own is not going to be enough. We need Eriksen in a kind of box-to-box as well. So let's move on. Let's talk about Gareth Bale once again now. And Sport are saying that Tottenham amongst the clubs who are pushing the hardest to sign Gareth Bale this summer. However, Cardiff City is one of the options that is getting stronger for the Welshman. But to follow on from that, we have had...
Cardiff City?
Yeah.
Are they getting promoted?
I don't even think they're getting promoted.
No, he's not going down to the Championship.
There have been rumours about Cardiff for a while.
Well, then again, Bellamy played there in the Championship, didn't he?
There's been rumours about Cardiff for a while, but look, again, I can't see him going to Cardiff. But we have had a bit of info from the We Are Tottenham ITK as well. And he says, Gareth Bale, Conte quotes, "Why would we sign him? For golf?" That's what Conte has said about Bale. And Conte also said that Bale has the talent, but football just isn't his priority anymore.
Well, he's not wrong, is he? And it follows on from what Joe Hart said, isn't it? Kind of like, well, whether you can say based on that football's not his priority, but Joe Hart was saying in his podcast that, to say Bale takes it easy in training is an understatement. That's what he said. He said he really tries to protect himself in training to keep himself fresh for games. And maybe at his age, with the talent that Bale has, maybe it is a case of, he's got nothing else to prove, and he just needs to keep himself fresh because he knows he can make the difference in training, in the game. But you contrast that to someone like Harry Kane, who we know, who everyone says is one of the best trainers in football and always tries to improve himself. I know never believes he's good enough, or always believes he can improve himself. And it feels like Bale doesn't do that. And although, on the flip side, you could argue he's that good, does he have to do that? You saw for Wales against Austria that you can, even at this level, even at this age, he can still make the difference. He is that good. But when you're trying to make a culture, an environment of everyone fighting for each other and everyone trying to improve themselves day to day, when you've got a player not doing that in training and potentially getting picked over other players who are working really hard, is that the kind of culture you want? And maybe you would say no to that in terms of what Conte wants. Although it's hard to turn down that kind of quality in your squad, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. But I think that when you're looking at Gareth Bale, and maybe he doesn't put his all into training, but he does seem to keep himself in good physical condition. That's always been the case with Gareth Bale. He's always like as fit, maybe not as fit as a fiddle in terms of I'm talking about his physical stature and stuff like that. He always looks at the top of his physical shape. But I agree with Conte. Like I was saying before, that I would want him in just because of the quality he can bring. But if he's not going to exert himself in training, and if Conte thinks that football's not his main priority, I think it's probably best just to give it a miss, to be honest.
Cardiff are in 17th in the championship. Surely he's not going to drop that low. I still think for a Premier League team that he could be. I mean, obviously he's on big wages, but I do think he's probably worth taking a punt on for someone.
For who though? What kind of level of Premier League?
I don't know. Maybe
won't be anyone in the top 6, I doubt.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the top 6, because I just think the cultures around those clubs. Like, I don't know, someone who I would be happy to kind of base their team around him. That kind of team. I'm not
like
sure.
Like a Leicester
who.
or someone.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think who in the, maybe someone in the Premier League.
Leicester, West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. I think West Ham would be perfect. Someone like that because West Ham, like, they don't.
I'd hate to see him in a West Ham shirt.
I know, me too. But I do feel like they would like just base their attack around him, and they wouldn't make him do too much tracking back. Leave that to like Rice and all their players, and then when they go forward, then he can come alive. And I feel like if West Ham signed him, he would be like a great signing for them, and they can allow him because they just know he's so much better than any other attackers. They can allow that kind of situation. It's a bit like when Ledley King was at Tottenham. We knew he was just so much better than any other centre backs. That even though he never trained, we knew that no one was really angry with him being in the team because he was that good. But with Tottenham, it's a bit different. Kulusevski there, and we got high class forwards. So to leave out Kulusevski for Bale. It's like, well, when Kulusevski's training really hard and everything, and Bale's not, I'm sure that could lead to a situation where Kulusevski's getting unhappy and stuff like that.
It could be a case of, you play if he obviously this is completely hypothetical and there's not even any rumours about this whatsoever. Bale to West Ham,
no, obviously.
But if you put Bale and Antonio up front and get Antonio to do all the running and then just get Bale to feed off all the scraps, I think that could work.
That's the thing. I just think at the moment, look, if Conte and Bale have a sit down and they decide, look, we can make this work, then I'd happily have him in the squad.
Yeah,
quality wise,
yeah,
he would be
just an option off the bench.
He'd be brilliant because I still think he's got so much quality. I just think maybe that's not what Conte probably might think he can't make it work. Like Mourinho couldn't really make it work last season.
Although he did score 11 goals under Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, but there was always tension.
Always, yeah.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Because yeah. I just can't see if Gareth Bale comes to Spurs and what Joe Hart was saying about the training. If he pulls that under Antonio Conte, he'll just never play.
And then there's a waste of time then.
Yeah. All right, last but not least, Ollie Skipp, some more injury news. We did bring you the update a couple of days ago from the ITK saying that he will be out for the rest of the season. Jonathan Veal's given us an update today saying Tottenham are still hopeful that Ollie Skipp returning to action this season. However, the medical department have a certain date. He has to be back in full training, otherwise they will write off this campaign.
Yeah, that doesn't sound promising at all. That to me sounds like they're getting ready to write off the campaign. If they're already talking about writing off the campaign, then they're getting ready for it, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
whenever you hear an update like this, it's always the latter than the former.
Yeah. You know, because think about, like, when you give these kind of deadlines and dates, what about if he's fit a day after that deadline? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? So I feel, to me,
I think circumstances can always change.
I know, it just sounds to me like, and when is that date? Is it next week, 3 weeks? Is it a month?
21st of May.
You know? So it sounds to me, if this is a situation, there's no point. Is there any point putting him under this pressure to get fit for this date? You know what I mean?
The only point is if one of Bentancur and Højbjerg get injured.
Yeah, obviously that would be worrying if that was to be the case, and maybe that's still what I'm sure that is in Conte's mind. But for me, it sounds like they're preparing to have him out for the rest of the season to me.
Well, so the first news the ITK gave us was Conte's got COVID. A day later, that gets released to the press. Then Ollie Skipp injured for the rest of the season, and now this is coming out in the press. I mean, seems spot on at the moment.
Look, we'll keep saying. Look, he does seem to know what he's talking about, so we'll keep giving you his information. But yeah, let us know if you've got any questions to ask him. We'll see what he says.
Yeah, exactly. So that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.